All right. Hello, welcome to the London Open session today on Wednesday trading. CPI day. And here we are. So let's take a look quickly what happened during the Asian session and the PM session also. PM session, small consolidation, breaks, nice SEBI over an octane, and then delivers below the low and into the lowest level here, then rejects inversion for variable rounds. Pretty nice little piece of price action from the PM session from Tuesday. PM session pretty nice. Asia rather poor. Lots of consolidation. Nothing really clear or clean or obvious or anything like that. Just banging around. And here we are with the London Open session here. Okay, so we have some obvious sell liquidity here, so I want to annotate that. This is some obvious sell liquidity pool. We have some relatively cool lows also from Asia. All of this is looking a little bit suspect. Look at this trend line. Phantom. And came back into it in some way here and it reacted. So people will really like this trend line idea that it should continue. And it would look like something like this. Alright, besides that, there isn't much on the downside that I necessarily like. In terms of buy side liquidity, we have some breaker in here. So lowest down close candles, in this case 2 of them, annotate and extend into the future. That's a bearish breaker, a high, a low, a higher high, and then rejected. So yeah, this is somewhat like a premium array for the near-term price action. And the buy side liquidity currently is residing above this high being built up there. Besides that, we have some nice little pool of liquidity in form of relatively cool lows here. So I guess that's kind of like worth to be mentioned. All right, and the big thing to remember is that we will have CPI later today, and CPI report is a huge one, and PPI is also pretty huge. So ahead of those reports, price is usually a little bit more reluctant to move in a very liquid manner, I would say. But yeah, that's kind of like the theory. So my idea at this moment is that we may want to see and seek the bearish breaker. That we may want to seek to trade up into the bearish breaker, and then out potentially anticipate a reversal that could seek then those relative lows in here. It may be as far as this low right there. That's kind of what I'm thinking in that regard. And yeah, we'll see. We will see what we'll get, right? All right. Morning, my friend. Hello, hello, hello. Can you hear me? Hello, hello, hello. All right. All right, all right, all right. All right. Good, good, good. Fine. By the way, welcome, Mr. Money Glitch. Welcome, welcome. And here we are. Here we are. CPI day on Wednesday, long open session. I guess keeping the powder dry. Nothing too exciting here. But that's good. That's good. That's actually good. So we'll see what we get. So yeah, when it comes to my bias is favoring higher prices, higher time frame. I do favor higher prices, but um we'll see what we get on the near term, right? So now we are digging into this breaker. And entering the 3 a.m. So we'll see exactly what we'll get. out of that. Around 5 second delay. Yes, yes, my friend. That's actually I think. I mean, I don't know what you use, but if you are using a free trading view and you are not paying for any plan, then there is a built-in 5 second delay on the candle refreshment rate. So the only way you can fix it is actually buy a paid plan for trading view, as far as I know, but yeah. Yeah, that will fix this issue for sure. I believe that the cheapest one resolves that issue already. So you don't need the expensive ones. Right. Now fair value gap was formed as we are turning up into this bearish breaker. And this octane in here. Surprise is approaching some premium. Well, yeah, I mean that's the best time to buy then, I guess. Right. So this fair value gap in here supported the price initially, And now we are touching the octane in here and deeper into the breaker. So I guess I want to just watch and see how it reacts around this area, whether it shows any premium sensitivity or something like that. Because yeah, we are trading higher quite a bit. And basically if the breaker doesn't hold the price in here, then probably we are going for this buy sell liquidity here from yesterday's AM session silver bullet highs, basically, with the potential to around the clean equal highs buy set up there. But yeah, I'm not necessarily sure what it wants to do. So far it's trading higher, so I'm kind of like giving it the chance to continue going higher, but at the same time we are at the area where I would potentially anticipate or suspect a measure of turnaround or retracement to form. There is a way, or there is a chance that they can engineer the sell side liquidity like this and this, and that phantom here, and let it cook a little bit, let it stay for the CPI, and then attack those levels. But yeah, obviously we will see. So far the octane in here is providing a little bit of resistance. Also in terms of the range, from this high to this low, this large range that we are currently in, we are slightly above equilibrium of that range. So we are in slight premium of that large range, I suppose. But kind of in between those near equilibrium octanes, which is usually the most choppy area to be inside in a range, right? That's usually where price gets a little bit sloppy and stuff like that. All right, so initial response off of the octane here and the breaker. Price is not being able to hold this down close candle, so this high, low, higher high, this could become a potential bearish breaker. Obviously, that's a little bit early to tell, but if it was like really bearish, that's kind of what we would expect from it. I'm not necessarily very bearish on this market, but yeah. I kind of view this so far as a measure of retracement rather than a complete outright reversal. Which means we might be on a hunt for higher highs still. And that's kind of like the safe bet, I would say. Even though we are trading into a premium array, I'm kind of like sticking with the order flow from here. That was bullish, it's bullish, it's bullish. And I'm not trying to necessarily call a top within this condition. So a retracement like this might be a potential reload to attack this high. Obviously, that requires some more information, but that's kind of like what I'm thinking at the moment. All right, and we are slowing down a little bit also within this price action here. Yeah, not much to be said at this moment, I guess. Starting to spend a little bit too much time inside of this fair value gap. that may suggest a consolidation coming. Because I kind of see it this way: if it's bearish, right, it should have been having no issues closing like below consequent encroachment, below the low of this fair value gap, and reaching further on the downside, right? It's not showing that, so it's not necessarily showing much bearishness at this moment within this price action. Uh, in fact, it actually respects the upper half of this fair value gap, which suggests a little bit of bullishness still remaining. But if that's the case, if it's bullish and it does respect the upper half, you would say it should make a higher high, it should rally from it, right? And that's a reasonable expectation. If it's bullish, that's very reasonable. But as we can see, price is not really in a rush, or it's not really seeking that higher prices quickly here, which means that if it's not necessarily bearish at the moment, it's not necessarily showing that. If it's potentially bullish but not in a rush to go higher, so what's most likely gonna happen? It most likely will consolidate, right? And I'm not saying that this consolidation will last forever, but there is quite a bit of a chance that this might turn into a measure of consolidation. And that's kind of what I'm expecting or anticipating. If we will not be able to break out of this range to the upside, and any more time spent inside of this fair value gap, inside of this inefficiency, is playing in favor of consolidation in my mind. Which generally wouldn't be something earth-shattering on a CPI day, right? We have CPI later today, which means probably the largest, the biggest movement for the day will be reserved for CPI and after CPI rather than pre-CPI. Same for tomorrow. So yeah, that's kind of how it seems at the moment. Yeah, again, it's tapping inside this fair value gap. It couldn't really rally, but it so far can't really go below that fair value gap either. So if it's not doing one or another, it's kind of sus, it's kind of weak. I mean, it's kind of consolidated type. All right, so now trading outside of this inefficiency to the downside and tapping into this premium week, right? And again, upper half of that being sensitive is still potentially supporting high prices. We could not close below this inefficiency also. So yeah, that's not necessarily terribly bearish at this particular moment, I would say. It doesn't necessarily change the whole tide. I would consider that it can still be just a little bit of a consolidated retracement rather than complete reversal and go the other direction. But yeah, I guess that's what we want to observe and watch and study without any risk on the line at the moment, and justify whether price is actually turning here or is it just playing around and not really doing that, right? All right, so now, just now, we got a close outside of that fair value gap. That doesn't necessarily mean it's completely bearish in my mind still, because what it does at the same time, it just taps into the upper half of this week, right? And it's respecting that. It's not closing below the consecutive encroachment yet, which would suggest further weakness. So yeah, in my mind, it doesn't necessarily proceed a complete turnaround yet. But let's change the color to the inversion and let's see how it will act and deliver off of that array right now. All right, so having this potential inversion for value gap, we would expect the price to tap into it, never explore the upper half, and quickly move away, possibly even displace to the downside. All right, so far we are extending to the downside, consecutive encroachment of that week being breached. And let's see if we can close below it now. Yes, we can. All right. So that's interesting, and that's making mm, making me think that it might be a little bit weaker now, and any upside is kind of suspect. But yeah, still let's see, because so far all of these candles are either small range candles, and or they are overlapping majority of the previous candles range. So now trading back into this inversion for value gap, potential inversion for value gap, closing near consecutive encroachment already. All right, so we had quite a large candle again here, but immediately the next candle overlapped majority of its range, right? Back again into this inversion for value gap. 1, 2, third candle. We should be leaving this range on the next candle. All of this is heavily overlapping price action, which, yeah, I mean, it suggests kind of like high resistance, liquidity run conditions type of thing. So, well, $330. So it's time wise it should run. Lower price wise, it's already done enough work inside of this inversion. It should run. Yeah, I'm still spending time inside this inversion for value gap. Kind of suspect. All of this price action looks kind of suspect to me. There was nothing so far that I would like to engage on, I guess. It just touched the consecutive encroachment of this week. And reacted slightly off of that, not giving a close below it right away. And still, all of these candles are either overlapping or very small little ranges. The first 30 minutes of the silver bullet, we haven't seen much from price at all. This seems still, in my mind, this still seems like a measure of retracement rather than like an outright reversal that should now seek lower prices big time. I'm saying it can't, but yeah, that's kind of how it feels like to me. All right, so now we see a little bit of response out of that consecutive encroachment back into this inversion for value gap. Well, it could not lay a body above this inversion, still spending time inside of it. All of this is just consolidation, nothing really super exciting, I guess. It formed a small little busy previously and now touched slightly into it. Let's see if we can manage to respond with some upside off of that. So yeah, I'm considering this session as a poor London Open session silver bullet hour. So far, it would be rather hard or difficult to change that, I guess. But yeah, my attention at this moment, I still feel like it's more likely to challenge that high at some point rather than lose ground strongly off of where we are. But yeah, obviously we'll see. Have some relatively lows there. Now tapping into this inefficiency. But all of this is very slow, lethargic price action that spends lots of time inside of inefficiencies and forms little smaller ranges and candles are overlapping. And all of that is hallmark for don't do anything. I guess the last chance would be the 350 to 410 macro to provide some clues, some ideas, some cleaner price action. I don't see a setup for that yet, but yeah. That's the only thing that could turn this session around a little bit and offer some kind of price run versus this, all of this, which is just poor banging around, time distortion, consolidation. So yeah, I believe around the 3:15 mark, I said that this is likely going to be a consolidation, and half of an hour later at 3:45 we've seen pretty much just a consolidation. So I will call it a moral victory here. All right, so 1 minute until the 350 410 macro, and yeah, we'll see if we can move outside of this consolidation by that time. I'm not trying to predict the breakout though. It could go either way, literally. It could go either way, so I don't really feel inclined to state anything one-sided, because yeah. This would be like a line in the sand on the downside here, but yep. All right, really lackluster session here. Really. Sorry, I was not talking too much though, but there was really not much to talk about at the same time. Like, for the whole hour, it was just, doing nothing really, which, yeah. So yeah, I guess pre-CPI, that's reasonable of a session. We'll see what we get for the New York AM session in that regard, or in this case. I think I will call it a session here, because yeah, 6 minutes left, but I have really nothing. I mean, there is really nothing that I would like to key off of. And and at this point, it would kind of feel like forcing an issue, I guess, because because how it delivered already for this complete hour. And could it potentially offer a price run in the last, I don't know, 3 to 1 minutes that could start that? Potentially, yeah, but at this point, I have no idea what I would. I mean, how would I engage that? Besides the fact that I would slightly favor a higher run on the buy side, but there is nothing in price right now that would allow me to engage with that. So I will cut the corner here, I guess, and and that's going to be it though. Regardless what it does, if it all of a sudden starts trading super clean, that's fine. I mean, you can do nothing about it, right? But yeah, that's the entire London Open Silver Bullet hour, and it didn't deliver a whole lot. So it is what it is. See you during the New York AM session 10 to 11. I'll be there, and we'll see. I mean, at least I will try to be there, because I might have some family visitors today. So if yes, then this AM session stream might be in danger potentially, but we'll see. Nonetheless, thank you for watching, and I wish you guys a pleasant reminder of the day. See you next time. Bye bye.